I am an operator at heart, and so I had the good fortune to fly in the military, and then I came to McDonnell Douglas and worked Delta II rocket programs where I got to be an integration manager, which meant I spent a lot of time in the field with the hardware, wound up being a flight test director, and wound up being an ultimate launch director. And I tell you, when I was a little kid watching the Mercury and Gemini launches, to be able to get to the point where I got to sit in console and say, "You are go for launch," I mean, what a fantastic career we all, in business, we all work in. So from that perspective, I think a lot about operability. And so when we talked to Jess, we'd spent a lot of time thinking about this over the years. I mean, even back on Delta II in the mid-90s when we were flying commercial missions, we spent a lot of time thinking about operability and ways to improve manufacturability. Because at the end of the day, in order for the customer to use us, they want to know that it's affordable and they want to know that they can count on the launch time. Because whether it's a national security payload that's got a critical mission to accomplish or a company that's trying to meet a revenue stream, those are both missions that require getting to space. And at the end of the day, a rocket is really just a means to do that. We're a transportation company. I think Pat made that comment yesterday, and I couldn't agree more. So in my mind, it really is about operability. And so from that perspective, I think we resonated very highly with Jess's objectives on this program. So thank you, Jess. Talk a little bit about the background. So we've been doing rockets for 50 years, and we're still wrestling with affordability. We've talked about affordability. We've designed, we've proposed, we've killed millions of view graphs in the process, and yet here we are, you know, asking the same question: how do we get out of that trap? So I think part of the issue is, if you kind of maybe almost take a sociological view of this, we're engineers, we like hardware, we like things, and so we spend a lot of time thinking about the what. What is it we're going to design? What is it it's going to look like? The details. We don't spend, as much time talking about the how. And one of the comments that was made during Industry Day for XS1 that I thought was very, very critical was, for those companies who have lots of internal processes, and you know, Boeing's guilty of that, we need to rethink that, because sometimes the how can have a bigger impact on our cost picture than the what. And I think that's an area that we want to spend some time thinking about on this program. We're amazed by the speed of response in the commercial marketplace. My goodness, they get products to market, you know, faster than we can keep up with paying for them. And so, but I believe it's not so much the technology. Yes, it's some very creative stuff, but a lot of it is how they go about running their business. You know, if you've read the stuff on how Toyota does car designs, how Apple does reaches their product decisions on product content, it's a very fast-paced, very, very cyclical exercise. Somewhat the opposite of what we're doing. I think over the years of all these years of you know, the question was asked earlier about why now, okay? So that's kind of the theme that we've all been talking about. I think the truth is we've gotten comfortable over the years. We knew how to design and fly expendable rockets. We knew that they would deliver the goods. We had good reliability. We understood them. And there was no pressure to change. There was no market forces. And in our environment, our business-oriented environment, if you're going to make a change, ultimately, it has to be market-driven change. That's the only way we're going to change. In the history up till now, it's really been controlled by a single customer. Yes, we had commercial launches, but those markets all developed from vehicles that started with ICBMs, designed to meet national security needs. Because of that, performance was king. It was all about performance. Yes, we talked about affordability, we talked about operability, but time after time, when it came right down to the wire and we were dealing with mass growth and some technical solution, it reverted back to, we've got to meet the performance goals and we'll figure out the rest later and hope for the best. And so we have Deltas and Atlases and Titans that have come onto the market over the years and been used successfully, and they're fine. They're wonderful products for what they did at their time in their niche market. But we can do better. And I think what we're seeing now, finally, is the impact of real market forces in this business that are changing the game. And so that's my understanding of why now. I think that's, you know, there's some, we've talked here about a lot of innovation things going on. Clearly, the pressures of the national budget, you know, money is no longer unlimited, to just talk to that. The market, the increasing commercial opportunities, the innovative technologies that are coming online. All these things really are proof of the fact that the market is starting to assert itself in a market, in a business area that has been for many years really been tied to a single government customer. And that's not bad or good, it's just the way it is. That's how this business evolved. So now we're starting to see it change. I think this objective that DARPA has laid down on XS1 of breaking the cost curve, well, it shouldn't be too surprised. That's something we're dealing with Boeing all the time. We've got a huge group of people up in commercial, in Everett, Washington, with commercial aircraft. We've got global competition. That's something we deal with and are working on every day. And so there's no reason why we can't take that same thinking and apply it to this and come out with a successful conclusion. I think the thing that works against us is, but rockets are different. They're special. Well, that's only because we've made them so. Formula One cars and America Cup racing boats are special too, but we still have affordable automobiles, we still have affordable sailboats. We use the same engineering principles, the same risk, the same quality principles, but we manage them and apply them differently in how we rate them and value them and apply it in the marketplace with an end objective of being more affordable. If we take that kind of thinking, that's how I think we can then change the paradigm and break the cost curve. Those are the kind of market forces that we want to apply to this, and I think XS1 is a great opportunity for us to do that. So what is it about XS1 that we think is really valuable? I think DARPA has done a really good job. I'm going to think back to an example of Delta Star. That's a program we did for SDIO many, many years ago, about the same time we were doing thinking DCX. SDIO came to us with a 3-page statement of work, and we said, we want a full-size satellite ready to launch in 12 months. Now, this wasn't like a small CubeSat. This was a several thousand pound bird. Well, 12 months later, we were sitting on, actually 13 months later, we were sitting on stand with that satellite. It was designed to operate for 3 months. It operated for a year. So these things can be done. We changed the how of what we did it. And so we're able to demonstrate. I've personal experience. I want to bring that same kind of mindset to this challenge and be successful at it. The aircraft-like operations, I think that's the thing, the real key of what DARPA's laid down here is the operational demonstrator. This is not a technology demonstrator, and we've taken that to heart. This is an operations demonstrator, which of course, as I said at the beginning, for me as an operator at heart, that really speaks to me. So that's our focus. We're trying to learn from past systems, keep the lessons that are good, get rid of the stuff that we shouldn't repeat, and apply that to that. One of the things that has happened to us, or one of the things I've heard said over years is, well, we tried reusability and we proved it didn't work. It's too expensive. Well, I think that's wrong. There's a saying I've always liked. It says, it's not what we don't know that hurts us, it's what we know that ain't so. Shuttle was a marvelous technical tour de force. It did some amazing things. But what it did not prove was that reusability was too expensive. What it did prove is if you pile too many requirements on a system, it's going to fail to deliver the goods. With my team, I use an example of a moving van getting your furniture from Los Angeles to New York. So you go out and you find an affordable moving van. But then you tell them, oh, and by the way, I want it to be able to carry a crew of 3 and feed it and house it for the 7 days. And, oh, I want it to stop and search for gas and oil on the way. How expensive do you think that moving van is going to be? And how good is it going to be at moving your cargo to orbit? Which really, at the end of the day, is all we're trying to do. We're a trucking company. We're a transportation business. And I think that's what the operational objectives that Jess has laid down are the real trick here. So, kind of to wrap up, we're excited to be part of this. We think it's the right way forward. Obviously, we've got a lot of history in the current environment, things we can learn from, things we can apply, things we can not repeat. And so, we've done a lot of innovative programs, so we're trying to learn from that. We've got a lot of commercial experience. We're trying to learn from that and apply all these things in order to meet Jess's objectives and do the things that we all want to do, which is really kind of change the commercial space and break out, be part of shaping the history, the future history of moving off the planet, because I think this is really part of that roadmap. And so we're really excited to be part of the program. Got just a few seconds left. I want to share a story with you, and I think this is relevant. Many years ago, I was flying in the Navy, and we had a 0600, one of those 0600 dawn launches. We'd been at sea for weeks at a time, and when you're at sea on a carrier, every day starts to look like the next. We manned up, we checked the aircraft out, we taxied up, are ready to go. And when you have a 0600 launch, you launch at 0600, not 0559. So there we were sitting all ready to go with about a couple of minutes to go, and I'm sitting there in the cockpit, and I said, another day. And I suddenly had this thunderstruck reaction. I said, oh my God, there are people in this world who would give anything to be sitting where I'm doing. And what the revelation I walked away with, and I've kept it to this day, is everything no matter how exciting, if you do it day in and day out, will become routine. We're heads down, we're executing our programs, but it's conferences like this that can really make us step back and say, what we're doing is really exciting, and it really has the opportunity to change the future for you know, our businesses and humanity. So I think it's really exciting to be part of this. So I appreciate that, Jess, and thanks. So that's it.